Arctic blasts are going to be coming into the eastern United States over the next few days. And we're seeing something like this unfold right before our eyes. Let's go back to about now. You can see we have this very intense setup here with a very defined ridge in the west and trough in the east look. So you can see this as this allows warm air to funnel northward and cold air to funnel southward. Along the jet stream, as you can see, we kind of have a northwesterly flow for portions of the south, so this is going to keep things cooler than average. And as we continue moving along, about the 10th, we can see this interesting little clipper system along the northern United States into areas like Wisconsin and Minnesota. We have this low pressure center of low pressure. And then we have this little interesting rain-snow line, how far north it is. You can see the rain-snow line is right here along the Illinois-Wisconsin border. And then in southwestern Minnesota, that's pretty far north for this time of year. Now, as we continue to move along with this, let's see. Let's move along to about right here. As you can see, we have a very intense setup here. We have another intense ridge in the west and trough in the east type of look here. So as we continue to have this kind of look, we're going to continue to have Arctic blasts down through the east. And that's going to be something to keep an eye out for. This is expected to bring some very intense conditions to the eastern United States. Very intense cold conditions, even down. We're gonna take a look at that a bit later, but we are gonna see how how far south this cold is gonna penetrate, and as you can see, we continue moving along this model run. You can see the jet stream, how it's dipping to the south. This storm there they're gonna continue to kind of ride along the jet stream there. We do see a slight warm up in the east here at this time, more zonal flow. I wouldn't say it's actually really a warm up; it's just more zonal flow. We have the jet stream about right here then, and then we have our southern jet. We could see some severe weather out of this. We'll just have to see if all the conditions do line up. But this is a very interesting system to watch. So, anyways, moving along. Let's see. Another interesting thing that happens is we do see another warm up in the east as this ridge moves along here. It moving off to the east, but we will see some warming up. Could see another potential severe weather event. We'll have to watch out for this, but and then we quickly see. Let's see. This is the last frame of the model run, and we see how quickly this storm flares up. We see 998 low pressure system, wintry precipitation off to the north, and then we have some potentially severe storms off to the south. So this will be an interesting setup. We have kind of this you can tell this warm front. We have this warm front here and then this cold front here type of look. And these storms look to be prefrontal by a little bit. We actually could be talking more like this as a warm front and then this as a cold front, so that this would make a little bit more sense to the storms near the cold front, but we'll just have to see. We do see some strong southerly winds. Near surface level potentially. So this would allow for moisture and warm air to make it all the way up here. Now, obviously, this is far out, so this is not like that was the last frame of the model run, so that's not like that's not official or anything as of now. So taking a look at Weatherwise, we do see the most interesting things going on in the northern plains where we have some snowfall and then we have this warm front. We have some snowfall off to the north of it. We had this like warm front here, and then we had this it transitioning to a cold front. This is going to bring cooler air obviously further to the south, depending on how far south it goes. And let's see, let us zoom in here on this storm. As you can tell, we do have quite a bit of moisture going on here. Let's see, I think it just, there we go. As you can tell, we have quite a bit of moisture up here in the northern plains, the upper Midwest, and this region could be experiencing quite a bit of snowfall today into tomorrow. And then we have another snow system moving over here. We're going to see some snow over areas in New York over the next few days. So, and the Northeast in general, I would say. So, over the next few days, be looking out for that. We do have some lake effect snowfall falling here. Otherwise than that, like literally nothing else is happening. No more precipitation other than really the northern United States. And so that's why when you look at the Weather Prediction Center map, you really see there's not there the only precipitation south of this line is going to be occurring in southern Florida. Like that's how dry it's going to be over the next few days. Day 2, you can see it barely dips further south than that. And then day 3, we see it does start to dip further south than that, but not by much. So as we take a look at the Climate Prediction Center 6 to 10 day outlook, valid from December 14th through the 18th, we do see that we have this trough in the east, ridge in the west type look. And this is pretty much going to be the same pattern we've been experiencing. But we do have this precipitation map to look at before we move on to the next one. But we do have a wetter north and a drier southwest. Pretty much near normal anywhere else. So, nothing too much going on there. There we go. Okay. Anyways, moving on. We do start to see this ridge start to shift further east, as you can tell. We have this trough becoming more shallow and lifting off to the northeast. And then we have a lot of this warm air surging northward. This is towards the 16th through the 22nd time frame. This is when we saw the warm up on the model run. So it looks like the Climate Prediction Center is agreeing with that pretty well. As you can see, above average in the northwest and below average in the southwest and pretty much, and then the central plains. Pretty much anywhere else in that in the nation will be below or near normal. So moving on. So I wanted to look at something. This is the Arctic Oscillation. Now this is going to tell us if we're going to be colder than normal or at least give us a good signal if we're colder than normal or warmer than normal. So as of now, we're in a negative AO phase. So anything below this line right here is negative AO. And that aligns up pretty well with us being in a pretty constant phase of Arctic blast moving into the east. So that aligns up pretty well. And we go positive around this time frame here, not too many days now. And as we move past the 15th, where it is showing we are supposed to get warmer than normal conditions in the east, this aligns pretty well because the Arctic Oscillation, so imagine you're looking at the globe. Let's see, that's not a very good representation. So imagine you're looking at the globe from the top view. So this is like the North Pole right here. We're looking at it from the top view. The winds around the Arctic Circle here, let's say this is the Arctic Circle, so the winds going around it, this is what keeps the colder air contained further into the north, like into into the North Pole area, like the Arctic Circle. That's why it's so cold up there, because this wind keeps it all contained. However, whenever you start to get into the negative AO phase, which is where we are right now here, we're right here right now. So we're in a negative AO phase. Whoops. Let me redraw that real quick. So when you're in a negative AO phase, let's see, again, this is, imagine, if I can get it right. Okay, imagine this is the Arctic Circle, this is the North Pole. So whenever you're in a negative AO phase, the winds around it start to wobble a little bit, and they start to weaken. And when that happens, this allows troughs to form, ridges in between, and then you have these troughs. So it brings Arctic blasts. It's called stratospheric warming events whenever the North Pole starts to warm up, and then it sends colder air farther south. So that's generally what we're seeing right now. And as it moves here to the positive phase, you should see either more normal conditions, like just like zonal flow, like we've been talking about, or you could be able to see warmer than normal conditions with like a ridge there. So, and then as you can see towards the end of this, it starts to dip down further. We're gonna have to see if this is gonna recover or if it's going to continue dipping. So this would be towards the January time frame. It depends, but if this does continue to dip down towards the January time frame, then we would see a very cold January. Now this is from the National Weather Service. We're going to look at the INSO anomaly forecasts like La Nina and El Nino. Past negative 0.5 is a La Nina. And above positive 0.5 is a El Nino, and anywhere in between is a neutral ENSO phase. Right now, you can see we've been in a neutral pretty consistently for a while. We've just barely dipped down into a weak La Nina, and turns out as we're recovering right now. At least the ENSO phase is recovering, so it's going to be pretty slow at first, but then it's going to start to pick up the recovery pace as we move on. But this is about where it hits into above zero. So this is about in between January, February, March, and April. So we're gonna see a weak La Nina to a negative neutral ENSO all the way pretty much through the winter. And then this is April, March, and January, or April, May, and July. This is about April, May, and July whenever we're starting to see the warm up. March, April, May, this is the start of spring. We're in about a 0.3 or so ENSO phase, and then April, May, June. This is April, May, June. We're almost 0.5 there, so we're moving into a El Nino by the time we get into the summer months here, May, June, July. So that's just something to keep an eye on. Now, I'm going to make my tornado season forecast in not long because I was testing it out last year. I didn't post it last year because I wanted to see how accurate it would be. I would say it did pretty well, so this year I'm going to post my tornado season forecast probably somewhere in January or something like that, or late December. So anyways, thank you guys for watching today's video. I will see y'all in the next video, and don't forget to check out EpicPen. You can get the free version for pen eraser, highlighter, screenshot tool, 16 colors, or you can get the pro version for $2 a month, pen eraser, highlighter, fading ink, highlighted cursor, shapes tools, text tools, whiteboard, blackboard, screenshot tools. Then we also have 24 colors, easy license management, and great value. So thank you for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next video.